This book sold over 32 million copies, but what if I told you the story inside it is one big lie? Robert Kiyosaki, the self-proclaimed financial genius, built his empire on one simple idea: rich dad is equal to smart, wealthy mentor who taught him how to be rich. Poor dad is equal to his own father, a loser who followed the system and stayed broke. For decades, Kiyosaki has preached this idea. Don't listen to school, don't get a 9-to-5, don't save money, invest in real estate, take on debt, and follow rich dad's teachings instead. But there's one massive problem. Who exactly is rich dad? Because according to multiple investigations, he might not even exist. And that's just the beginning. From fake success stories to bankruptcies, lawsuits, and secret high-pressure sales tactics. We're about to uncover the truth behind Robert Kiyosaki's biggest scam. For decades, Robert Kiyosaki built his brand around a mystery mentor he called Rich Dad. Poor Dad, his real father, was an educated government worker who stayed broke. Sounds inspiring, right? A simple but powerful contrast. Except there's one massive problem. No one, not a single person, has ever publicly confirmed that Rich Dad was real. When people started asking, who is Rich Dad, Kiyosaki dodged the question. His response: why don't you treat Rich Dad like Harry Potter? Wait, Harry Potter? So he's just a fictional character? For years, the identity of Rich Dad was a mystery. Until 2009, when Kiyosaki's wife let something slip. She named a man, Richard Kimmy, a Hawaiian hotel owner. Sounds like we finally found Rich Dad, right? Well, not exactly. Because here's where things get sketchy. One, Richard Kimmy never publicly confirmed he was Rich Dad before he passed away. 2 of Kimmy's own sons refused to be involved in Kiyosaki's book. And 3 public records suggest Kimmy was already wealthy when Kiyosaki was a child, so he was never becoming rich in front of him. And here's the biggest plot twist. A newspaper from 1955, when Kiyosaki was a child, named Kimmy's father as the real business owner. That's right. The so-called self-made rich dad wasn't self-made at all. His dad was already rich. So the big takeaway, Rich Dad wasn't just rich. He was Rich Dad's dad. Kiyosaki based his entire book on this rags to riches mentor. But it turns out the mentor was rich from the start. And that's just the first lie. Because while Kiyosaki claims he got rich through real estate, his actual fortune came from something else entirely. Now let's talk about the Rich Dad seminars. Because if you read the book, you might think, okay, I want to be rich like Robert Kiyosaki. Let me sign up for a seminar. Congratulations, you've just walked into one of the most aggressive sales funnels ever created. Here's how it worked. Step 1, the free seminar. You see an ad for a free Rich Dad workshop. Sounds harmless, right? You show up expecting real financial knowledge. Instead, it's a glorified sales pitch. The speaker hypes up the real secrets of the rich, but oops, they can't give them away for free. Step 2, the $500 VIP course. You're told that real financial freedom starts with their $500 VIP class. Rich Dad said you have to invest in yourself. You take the bait thinking, $500 to change my life? Sure. Step 3, the advanced training, $12,000 to $45,000. You're pressured into a more serious investment. A 3-day course costing $12,000 to $45,000. They literally hand you a script and tell you to call your credit card company to increase your limit. If you hesitate, they say don't talk to your dad about this, he's a poor dad. They shame you for playing it safe, claiming fear is what keeps people poor. But here's the reality. The advanced training was mostly recycled information from his books. Many students ended up in debt. Some even took out second mortgages on their homes. One widow in Missouri sued after she lost $35,000 and nearly lost her home. And the worst part? An undercover investigation found that some Rich Dad speakers were making up their success stories. One guy claimed he made $32 million flipping a mobile home in Canada. The reporters drove out to check the property and found nothing. When Kiyosaki was confronted about this, he simply said, "Not fair. My partners must have hired fake rich dads. Not fair?" Kiyosaki literally licensed his name to these companies, took the money, and then played dumb. And speaking of money disappearing, Robert Kiyosaki has spent years telling people to get rich. But in 2012, he did something surprising. He filed for bankruptcy. Kiyosaki owed $23 million to a company called Learning Annex, which helped promote his brand. Instead of paying, he let his company Rich Global LLC collapse. His personal wealth was never at risk because he kept everything under different business names. The rich dad philosophy in action: if you owe money, make it someone else's problem. But here's where things get even crazier. Kiyosaki didn't actually get rich from real estate. His first millions came from 1, teaching money and you seminars in the 80s, not his own program. 2, selling financial books in the 90s. He didn't even write Rich Dad, Poor Dad alone. His co-author Sharon Lechter was a financial publishing expert. 3, partnering with MLM companies like Amway, which had been accused of operating a pyramid scheme. Kiyosaki even admitted this years later, "I was very much against network marketing at first, but then I realized they were doing exactly what my rich dad taught me, building networks." Translation: I realized I could sell my book to MLM distributors in bulk, and that's exactly what happened. Rumors suggest that Amway reps pushed Rich Dad, Poor Dad to new recruits, boosting its sales numbers. And that's how Kiyosaki's book became a bestseller, not because it was groundbreaking, but because it was a tool to sell a dream. So after everything we've uncovered, what's the real lesson behind Rich Dad, Poor Dad? It's not about escaping the rat race. It's not about becoming rich through smart investing. It's about convincing people that if they just pay enough money, they can become rich too. Robert Kiyosaki didn't get rich following the lessons in his own book. He got rich selling you the idea of financial freedom while keeping the real profits for himself. He told people to take on debt to invest, while he was quietly filing for bankruptcy to dodge his own. He built an empire on fake success stories, overpriced seminars, and sales tactics that prey on people's financial desperation. And that's the harsh truth. The real rich dad didn't teach financial freedom, he taught financial manipulation. The real rat race isn't your 9-to-5 job, it's the cycle of buying into these get-rich-quick fantasies. And that's exactly why these scams never go away, because there will always be people who are desperate, struggling, and looking for a way out, and there will always be someone willing to sell them a dream. But here's the thing, Kiyosaki was right about one thing: the rich don't work for money. But the real rich don't fall for scams either. The real way to build wealth isn't found in a 45,000 seminar or a magic formula. It's in learning real skills, making smart investments, and actually putting in the work. So if you really want financial freedom, don't max out your credit cards for a seminar, don't chase shortcuts, and don't fall for anyone selling you the idea that getting rich is easy. Because in the end, the only people getting rich from these programs are the ones selling them. And that's the real secret they don't want you to know. And that's the end of this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thanks for watching.